All right, welcome back to Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Hey, William, let's bring in our next guest, good friend of the show, Mr. Michael Bogart. Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing
How's
great.
things going? Is today Ash Wednesday?
Well, tomorrow, yes, it will certainly be Ash Wednesday.
So, wait, Ash Wednesday, do you celebrate it? You're not Catholic.
No, I'm not Catholic, right?
So you don't?
I do not, no.
You don't, but Catholics are the only ones that do Ash Wednesday?
I think maybe Eastern Orthodox Christians might as well, but
Because
actually, I
they're
don't know.
almost Catholic.
Well, because they're an Eastern Catholic.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So, what do Christians do for Ash Wednesday?
You mean Protestant Christians?
Them.
Right. Not much, really. They're not into the Lent celebration much at all.
So there's no Fat Tuesday for you?
Not really so much, yeah.
So you just look forward to Easter?
Pretty much Easter's the highlight.
Yeah.
In the Protestant calendar, Easter is the highlight of the year, with Christmas as a very close second. Yeah.
So Easter's number one?
Yeah, oh,
the
certainly.
second coming?
Well, actually, it's the resurrection.
That too.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Second coming hasn't happened as far as I'm aware.
Oh! All right. So what did you want to talk about today, Mike?
Okay, let's get on to what I want to talk about. I would like to talk a little bit more about that subject of why people join religious groups and why they stay involved.
Religious groups or religious sects?
Well, you can call them sects, or if you want to talk about the sects, which would be the more marginal, out there sort of folks, we can
people
talk about
that make up stuff on their own.
The people that are not part of the mainstream, groups of
David
Christians.
Koresh's and that kind of
those
stuff.
Those guys, absolutely.
Jim Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people call them cults or groups like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so why do people do that? But
do you study those kind of people too?
Certainly do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, we should talk about them one day.
We certainly
Instead
can.
of all this wholesome stuff,
Heaven forbid. But yeah, no, I think that's really the fascination of people because, the good law-abiding, church-going person that doesn't break the rules, that's kind of boring stuff for most people. It's the Kool-Aid drinkers that get the attention.
Sure. And the guys in the Nikes. Remember them in the purple robes?
Oh, yeah.
Remember they were going to go to Mars?
There was
They're there right now. Yeah.
There was a spaceship that they were waiting for,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah, that's been a few years back. But people, one of the factors is, and I was looking online and I found some statistics from 2014. 1 in 4 Americans would describe themselves as significantly lonely. And if you probe the question a little bit more and say outside of, like, say, a family member, do you have anybody to talk to? About 50% of Americans would say they really don't have somebody that they could really confide.
Like they don't
deeply
have a Facebook account?
Well, I don't know whether they would call that deep confiding in people.
Okay.
But for that reason, I think it's important to realize people join religious groups because that is one context that they can get deeply involved in terms of relationships.
Because they have stuff they want to talk about and they need someone to talk about it with?
They are allowed to join a group and become part of a group that's ongoing. And I
They're
think
going
that's
in the
important
same
with
direction.
people. Right. Yeah. They're a group of people that you can say, these are my people. If I need to talk to somebody, I've got an ear.
If I get in a bind, they might be there for me?
That's exactly right. And when you think about how isolated Americans are, you brought up Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook has taken the place of what, for generations has been face-to-face relationships where you could really talk to people and be with people.
I don't think people face-to-face would say some of the things that they do on Facebook. No. Boy, they're getting brave out there. There's a lot of opinions flying around.
The internet is one of those places where you can be rude and sort of get away with it.
Yeah.
For example, I teach at Excelsior College, which is online. It's one of the places where I teach. And I had a student that said something in a discussion board this week which was really foul and very prejudiced against
foul, like F-O-U-L.
Foul in terms of a very distasteful thing to say.
What did he say?
Well, I can't repeat it online. It had something to do with the kind of person he thought a certain group of people were, and it was very, very derogatory. And I thought to myself, you'd never say that face-to-face. In a face-to-face class,
because
you would
get
never
punched
say
in the face.
Well, because people would take offense, and you could read the body language that people were very uncomfortable with this. But online, and so as the teacher, I had to sort of reprimand him and say, you can't say that in this kind of discussion board context. And
I'm not good at it like this. Like verbally, I feel like I'm an assassin, like I can really blurt it. If I need to, I can say it, but I can't really type it out very well.
Well, I think some people find it easier to do that in terms of online text stuff, to say what they think than face to face. I mean, it's a lot easier to let's say you're interviewing somebody for a job. It's a lot easier to turn them down in a letter or an email than to say, I'm sorry, you don't meet our qualifications.
Sure.
Yeah. Because you're reading the downcast look on somebody's face.
Yeah.
And
they need the job.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just think Facebook has replaced some of those relationship kinds of things that we had before, and I don't know that it's replaced it entirely in a positive way. And so I think one of the factors that religious groups provide for people is a place where they can belong.
Do you know about those guys that put the spaghetti strainers on their heads?
No, I don't.
Boy, did I just give you some homework for the week.
I guess you did.
Yeah, it's a whole new religion in New Zealand or something.
Spaghetti strainers on their heads.
They're
no?
Pastafarians.
Nice.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what, Chuck?
What?
I always look forward to coming on this show and hearing whatever you have to say.
I appreciate you. I really do. Did you want to give away one of your DVDs today?
If I can stop laughing, I'll do that. I've made this video called the 45-Minute Bible. It's no depth in the Bible, but it gives you the big picture of what the Bible's all about. And for the first person that emails me at info@aspectministries.com, I will give a copy of this DVD to them.
Awesome. 45-Minute Bible right there, written by my buddy Michael Bogart. Always good to see you, man.
Good to see you,
Thanks
Chuck.
for coming by.
We'll see you.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, live local music from Peter Mordyke. Stick around, people.